before we get into the nitty-gritty of Mads Hermansen, by the way, I think he might be having his medical right now, and then on to do the, the social media stuff. I'll probably do that. There'll be some bubbles in the background. Do all that stuff ahead of the big reveal. Really, really buzzing about that, actually. Before we talk about that, before we go into any detail about the update, West Ham might buy 2 more new players. I thought it'd just be 1. I thought goalkeeper plus 1 other midfielder. Could be 2. That'd be brilliant. Before we discuss that, you might have noticed there was a new intro at the start of the video. And that is because we have partnered with Boyle Sports. And we're absolutely buzzing about it. Boyle Sports, of course, are the shirt sponsor for West Ham for next season, the official shirt sponsor. And we've teamed up with them, and we're going to be working with them this season to do a lot of the stuff, which hopefully you guys are joining in with anyway. So when we do our pre-match build-up, and we do the bet, when we do our when we reveal the starting lineups, we put a little bet together. Boyle Sports are going to be helping us with that and giving you guys boosted odds. And those won't just be the only boosted odds we're giving you, because we've actually got 2 offers for you now. Because what we've done is we've put together a season bet, a Premier League season West Ham special, which they've given boosted odds on just for West Ham fans, and just for you guys as well. I'll tell you what the bet is now. It's West Ham to concede 60 goals or less, to take 2 points from Manchester United, for Bowen to score 10 goals, and for Magic Diouf to do 4 assists. I think that's realistic. So what we've done with that is, this is how it's going to go on for the rest of the season. Those odds were 10 to 1. We're boosting them for you at 14 to 1. But it gets better than that. If you sign up, and these are for new sign-ups only, if you sign up to Boyle Sports using the link below, you've got to use that link below, otherwise you're not getting all this extra juicy stuff. You get £40 worth of free bets when you bet £10. You've got to deposit a tenner, you've got to bet a tenner, right? But you get £30 in sports bets for free, plus an extra tenner in casino bets. Terms and conditions, take a look at all that. 18 and above, UK only, I'm afraid, so mums and dads, no boys and girls for this one. But we're absolutely delighted to be partnering with them, as ever. Gamble responsibly and all that stuff. But go and check it out, and we'll be doing a lot of new stuff and a lot of boosted bets just for West Ham going forward, and we're absolutely buzzing about this. So thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to Boyle Sports. Absolutely brilliant. Right. Let's have a little discussion, shall we, about Mads Hermansen, because there was certainly, I was a little bit surprised. There was a lot of negativity yesterday, so it was a bit of a weird one, really, because there were a lot of people negative when we weren't going to get him, and particularly when John Victor, who we didn't sign, and who by all accounts has had a bit of a rough ride and who's been let down, and has had to return back to his club. But when it was really weird to watch the switch, because I did a video a few days ago. People were so angry about signing John Victor that people were sharing his mistakes online. People were clipping his mistakes, putting little montages together. People are comparing him to Roberto and things like that. Now, to be fair, I don't think it was a fair reflection. I think he's a better goalkeeper than that. And there were some people, by the way, these people were very much in a minority. There were people sharing his good bits. But it was a bit of a weird one. Make no mistake about it. This was not the goalkeeper we wanted. And certainly for me on this channel, I was saying I want to get Graham Potter's top guy. I want to get the guy that Graham Potter is after. That's Mads Hermansen. So I was really, really pleased that we got him. And there's still a lot of anger. And I think people are upset with how John Victor had been treated. And don't get me wrong, I could empathise. I didn't think it was particularly good business practice. But as I mentioned yesterday, football is ruthless. And I've got to say, whilst I felt sorry for him, he'll be all right. He'll get a transfer somewhere. He'll go back to that club. He'll do all right, I'm sure. If he's as good a goalkeeper as I think he probably is, he's going to do absolutely fine. But certainly my enjoyment at getting the correct goalkeeper massively overshadowed my disappointment I might have had for missing out on John Victor. It wasn't even close. I'm absolutely delighted, absolutely buzzing to get this goalkeeper over the line. And I think more important than that, it gave me the hope that we would go and get it right on the midfielder. I think I've actually enjoyed this transfer window less than any other. I like transfer windows. I like the gossip. Even the stuff that's absolute nonsense. I don't know if you've seen it. Youssef En-Nesyri's name's been put out again today. My goodness. We were linked with him before COVID. We were probably linked with him before the bubonic plague, truth be known. Digging up the battlefield at the Battle of Hastings, and they find some copy of the Sun linking us to Youssef En-Nesyri. Anyway, even that stuff, I quite enjoy it. It's not been an enjoyable experience, this transfer window. I know not every signing worked out last season, but we had Tim Stight, and we'd signed 9 players by the time the season started, or by the time the window had slammed shut. I don't know why I say that. The window slammed shut. You don't want to slam a window. Do not slam a window. You can slam a door as long as it's not got too much glass in it. Don't slam a window. Anyway, before the window was gently closed, right? We'd signed 9 players. It seemed exciting. I remember I was so excited it started off well, so excited by the signing of Guilherme. Really was. We didn't know that he was going to not play and stuff like that. Just as far as we were concerned, we'd signed this wonder kid from Brazil. This season been completely different. I mean, it has been, constant worry. Are we going to sign players? There's been so much anger at the club. Permanent anger, it seems. Certainly, a lot of concern from myself, worried that we weren't going to do it right. We weren't going to, worried about so much stuff. So I think when yesterday happened, and when we signed Hermansen, I was pleased. Which brings us on to the midfielder, and that's what I'm going to discuss now. I mentioned it yesterday. Unless someone's going to come from left of field, it will be interesting to see who we'd sign, because it's not like... We did eventually sign Hermansen, who we've been linked with all winter, right? I think certainly Malik Diouf's name was only in the frame quite late. And I remember how this unfolded. We were after Habib Diarra, who played for Senegal. And West Ham went to scout Diarra. And it was ex-West Ham United employee was the first person that did this update. And he said, while we were scouting him, we've also been looking at Malik Diouf. I thought, wow, I didn't even know. Honestly, didn't know. Never heard of the player before in my life. So there wasn't an awful lot of speculation beforehand. That when X did that update, that was the first I'd ever heard of him. And we'd signed him 2 weeks later. But a lot of these players, you do get a bit of a run-up. You do get a bit of a steer. Max Kilman, we were linked with him for ages. To Debo, it seemed to go on for 2 months before we signed him. So I would not be at all surprised if we do go and sign either Jacob Ramsey, Matheus Fernandes, really like that player. I know I've said it, but I'll say it again. I'm going to keep saying it until we sign him. Who, by the way, has been told that he can leave Southampton. Or Douglas Luiz. Those 3, their names have been there. I'm not going to make a prediction because I don't know. But it would not surprise me if we got to the end of the transfer window, near the end, 2 or 3 days before before the window is gently closed, and we go in for Luiz on loan. As I mentioned yesterday, I think we've shown a ruthlessness in the way that we have tried to handle the Hermansen deal. And by the way, I really like what Gio said last night in his video. It's gone very, very binary on it. Like there's no middle ground. So it's almost like West Ham. It's almost like West Ham were either doing it to drive down the price, and we weren't interested at all. But there wasn't any middle ground with John Victor. And actually, it's almost like we just mucked him about and we never had any intention to sign him. I think what Gio said was probably quite right. I just think he was our second choice. And I think we started negotiating with both in the hope that we'd get the top choice. I think that's what we'd done. Was he treated well? No, he wasn't. But it's a shame. It's a shame for him. But West Ham did what was best for West Ham. And I was very, very happy about that. And if we're capable of doing that, then I think we're certainly capable, because we were patient with Leicester, I think we're certainly capable of biding our time, and waiting to try and get a deal for Douglas Luiz. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not want us. I do think it's a risky game, particularly the later you go in the window. I think because if you hedge all your bets on that and then you don't take him, left without a midfielder. So I want us to go and buy a midfielder. I think this is really, really important. But I wouldn't mind betting that we make a cheeky attempt to nab him right at the end because they won't be able to sell him for anywhere near the price that Juventus want to sell him for. So there you go. That's what I think on that one. I also feel we're publicly drip feeding the information out there that we can't afford his wages. £138,000 a week. I think we can. I think we won't. Someone made a really, really good point on the comments yesterday and said maybe it's not so much that we can't afford the wages, maybe it's just that it would throw our wage structure out the window or something like that. It would upset the balance. We certainly know that Guido Rodríguez joining on like 100 grand a week last season has upset Tomas Soucek, who's on 75, 80 grand a week, something like that. Anyway, it would appear, and this is judging from an article in Hammers News, who have spoken to a top source at the club, a top spokesman, as they say, that West Ham are in the bidding for 2 more players. And it was when they asked about Ramsey and they asked about Idrissa Gueye, the young striker that we've been linked with, 18-year-old striker in France we've been linked with. And apparently, what they were told back was, we need to move players on before we make another offer. I don't believe that. Well, I believe they were told it. Don't get me wrong. I don't quite believe that. I do think there's money there. I think if we don't get another offer for anyone else, it doesn't mean we don't bring a midfielder. And I think we'd do that. I think for us to do both, we need some players to leave. There's already been a bid for Andy Irving. I think he'll go. And I didn't get the impression this was all about recouping lots of money. I think this was about making space, as it were. Because we need space, particularly for midfielders. I think we'll cut our losses on Rodríguez as well. And those are the midfielders. I would expect Emerson to go. And I would expect Maxwel Cornet to go. We won't get what we want for any of those players. But I do think they will all leave. I actually think that we will get a bid, an offer for Edson Alvarez. Whether it's as good as we want, as high as we want, I don't know. I don't know. He's had such a good Gold Cup. He scored a goal in the final and won Player of the Tournament at the Gold Cup in the summer. He was by any metric, he was the best player in the tournament. And he was good. It wasn't like he only scored a goal in the final. I think he got another goal. I think he got an assist in the group stage or whatever it was. He played well. He played well enough that clubs have been looking at that, thinking we've got to take him. He's not some over the hill player who's 34 or something like that. He's in his prime at the moment, Alvarez. And I do think even if he stays, I still think we've got a good player there, by the way. But I do think players will go. So I am confident of bringing at least one more in. If we were going to go and bring in a quick striker as well, I'd be pretty pleased with that. Because I do think that's the one thing, for all their qualities everybody has, I don't, in terms of the forwards. And you can even chuck Lucas Paqueta in there as well, because I think he will be used on occasion as a false 9. Don't have anyone with outright rapid pace. And I think that would be... It would open things up for West Ham. I really do. And the way we play would give Graham Potter real options. But I feel more optimistic about it now. I do. There's no doubt about it. It's completely changed my mood on things. And I'm really buzzing about it, actually. Really buzzing about it. Looking forward to the new keeper. Total first team quality. Improves the team. Absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to skedaddle. Thank you for your time. I'll be back tomorrow. We've got a game tomorrow, so I'll be looking forward to that, certainly. We may well have another bet for that, actually. Another special match day bet from Boyle Sports. Don't forget to check out, use the link below, or you do not get the special offer. You do not get a boost. You do not get the £30 free sports bets. You do not get the £10 free casino bets. Remember, Got to use the link below. It's a minimum £10 deposit, minimum £10 bet. Remember that, and I'll catch you tomorrow.